Hi all. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If you are new, welcome. My name is Amira and this is part 2 of my eyeshadow palette collection slash declutter video. I decluttered a few things in the first video and then I had a maybe item. I'm going to revisit that at the end of this video because I'm probably going to have a bigger pile of maybe. Well, maybe not now that I'm looking around. We'll see, but I'll revisit that one at the end of this video. So let's hop into it. If you are seeing this video for the first time, I would say watch that first one and then come back. Or if you're a rebel, you can watch this one first and, go out of order. It's all up to you. I am doing everything by category of brand because it's just easier that way. And that's kind of how I have things for the most part organized. Not everything, but for the most part. I do want to start off quickly with these 3 minis that I have all of my mini pan, like palettes that are small like this in one spot. So I did my ColourPop collection declutter in the first video. So these were in with all of my other little baby palettes. So I completely forgot to grab these, but this is what they look like. I'm thinking I'm going to keep these for now, and I'm especially keeping this one since I got rid of the Sweet Talk palette in that video. This is kind of like a nice little curated version of Sweet Talk, and I actually really like the pigmentation and the formula of these. So these are staying, but I wanted to mention them since I do in fact own them. Put those to the side. And then let's get started with the Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes. I did my Norvina palettes, the big Kahuna palettes from the Norvina line. I did those in the first video towards the end of the first video. So these are all of my the Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes. Let's go in order of release. Let's go in order of how I purchased them and how they came out. Start with the OG. Modern Renaissance. This palette is old as Methuselah. Look at it. Look at it. Can you tell that I've used this a lot? And the irony of this is not even my favorite. I don't love this palette. I like it, but I don't love it. Oh, they're so soft. I've hit pan on things. I've had this forever, and I want to keep it in my collection, but I don't think I want to keep this particular one in my collection because I feel like it's just kind of seen its day. It's kind of old, and I'm thinking I'm going to declutter this and just eventually buy a new one. So yeah, this particular one is going bye-bye, but this will not be gone from my collection forever. Once I'm off my no-buy, I probably, when it's on sale or something, because they tend to have pretty good sales on their OG palettes. Maybe this, Black Friday or whatever sale they have where this is super cheap, I'll pick up a replacement. Next up is this Soft Glam, which is one of my favorites. This one's, as you can see, has pan in it too. I love this palette. Keeping. There's nothing wrong with it. It's beautiful. Keeping. And then let's see. Soft Glam came after Subculture, but I want to do Soft Glam because it's sitting there. But I've got stuff all on here. I love this palette. This is the newer formula. I don't have the one that everyone bragged on and didn't like, but this is the newer formula. This is a classic. I feel like you gotta have it, this isn't going anywhere. It's beautiful. It's not going anywhere. Love it. Next up is this one, which not a lot of people own. It's the velvety texture, especially when you have a cat. It's not the best. You guys remember this? The Present palette? Oh my god. This palette, when you look at it, it just looks insane. But actually, guys, these shades are so stunning. And there is a method to the madness. Yeah, I'm keeping. I really like this palette. Then we have these baby. What can I say? Perfection. I'm not a huge silver shadow, metallic shadow person, but this shade Cyborg is life. Ember, Teak, Cinder. Twig is a stunning shade. Slate. I basically like every single shade in this palette except Bloom because it makes no freaking sense. They put it in here so that they wouldn't get accused of having just yet another neutral because this came out after Soft Glam, but it really didn't need it. I didn't need it. I never used that. Sir. Next up is the Riviera palette. I don't love this palette, but this palette has one of my favorite gold eyeshadows of all time. That just looks like a gold, right? But guys, this applies like butter. It's so smooth. I've done like faux cut creases just using that. That white is stunning. It's, for me, this palette just works well, not as a collective, but just as like for its parts, you know? So I can't, I'm gonna keep, I'm honestly, and I mean, we're down to the dregs here, so I think you kind of see where this is going. I'm only decluttering Modern Renaissance, and that's because it's old and I need to get a new one. Jackie Aina, baby. Look at this stunner. Oh, Wigglies alone is worth, this palette is worth, my goodness. Lituation, This palette is stunning, stunning. Keeping. Yep. All right. Viseart. These are all my little Visearts. This is all Visearts I own. I owned more, but I decluttered them a long time ago. This is what I own now. Here's my thing with Viseart. I like Viseart, and I'm often attracted to their color stories, and then I buy them, and then I never use them. This one, Violet Etunde, I've literally never used this. Never used it. I've swatched it. It's stunning. I've literally never dipped a brush in this and put them on my eye. But I can't bring myself to part with it yet. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I can't do it yet. I can't do it. I will revisit this. If I still haven't used this by my next declutter, and just to give you guys, if you haven't heard, watched any of my other declutter videos, I declutter like twice a year. So I declutter at the beginning of the year, and then I clutter in June around my birthday time. So if I still haven't used this by that time, it can go away. Paris Edit. I'm rediscovering this palette. I loved it when I first got it, and I used it a few times. But when I did my Rose Quartz Duping the Vibes, I really kind of fell in love with this palette and forgot how beautiful it is. So I'm going to be keeping this. This is which one is this? This is Chroma, and this is their Theory palette series that they discontinued. I've used this a bunch of times. I like this a lot. I really do. It's just, it's very basic. There's nothing like, it's a black and a slate gray and a white and some cool tone metallics. But I mean, it's a really nice palette. So I'm going to be keeping that. And this is the Petite Pro. And which one is this? Petite Pro 3. I'm going to declutter this one. I bought it, and this is what happens with all of these. I buy them, and then I don't use them. A couple of shades on their own, but yeah. Declutter. And then we have the Petit Four and Praline. Isn't this pretty? This is what those Glossier little weird ass trio palettes that they came out with last year. Was it last fall? This is what those should have been and could have been, but weren't. Keeping. Now let's do my Natasha Denonas. And I mean, I did my Natasha Denona ranking, so you guys know how I feel about all of these, and I'm just going to preface it by saying that I'm not getting rid of anything. Even the one that I didn't like all that much, even this one here, I'm not getting rid of it. Sorry. I might depot it, though, if I can. I don't know if you can depot these. I know a lot of our other ones you can depot, but I might be able to depot this. I might depot these. This still pisses me off, though. Maybe I should declutter it and get a new one. Because this shade just irks my soul in every way. It's just so... I just have a hard time decluttering Natasha Denona because I love Natasha. She's one of my... Like, her formula is, like, top 3 for me. So I have a really hard time. But this one is the one that, like, is this is the... What do you call it? The lemon? This is the lemon in the batch. And... here's the thing. These aren't cheap. And if I declutter it, I'm probably never going to repurchase it. I'm going to hold on to it for now. Again, I'm going to do what I did with the Etunde. If I don't, I'll revisit. These are my other little 5 pans. And then these are the minis that I own. Here they are. Not going anywhere. Let me move all these little fiddly diddlies out of the way. Here is my Zendo palette. Not going anywhere. Here's my bronze palette. Not going anywhere. Sunrise. First Natasha Denona palette I ever purchased was this baby right here. Stunning, beautiful, not going anywhere. Love, which is discontinued and you can't get any more, so I'm definitely holding on to that. Socoloco. Stunning, not getting rid of that. Triochrome, stunning, not getting rid of that. Metropolis, my favorite Natasha Denona palette and one of my favorite palettes in my entire collection. Gold, beautiful. And Safari, which has its issues, but she stays. All right, that was pretty easy. I mean, basically, like, here's my Natasha Denona collection. I love them all. All of them stay. That's basically what that was. All right, let's do my little babies here. And then, guys, then listen to me. Listen to me. Come closer. I'm going to do all of my Pat McGraths in this video. And it's going to be a lot. So that's what I'm kind of like barreling through here because we got a lot to get through. Once I get past these, I'm going to get through those Pat McGraths. I've got some like one-offs that I'm going to do and then we're done. But the Pat McGraths are going to take up a lot. So let's get into it. I've got 2 NARS palettes. This is my newer one, the one that I was obsessed with, and I'm so glad I bought because it's beautiful. I love it. Glad I bought it. No regrets. Beautiful. Keeping. This is the NARS, is it Afterglow? Yes, it is Afterglow. I have issues with this palette, but I still can't bring myself to get rid of it, so I'm going to keep it for now. My 2 Charlotte Tilburys, as Teresa's dad would say. This is the Icon palette. I like this palette, and it has that sort of like wannabe cream to powder. It has that cream to powder vibe that like Natasha Denona has. It's a little bit different, but I like this palette, so I'm keeping it. And then my one little quad, and it is the Super Blue quad, and I love this quad. This little quad is adorbs. It's adorbs. I love it. I love it. I think it's beautiful. Keeping. My 1 and 2, the only Too Faced palettes I own. The OG Gingerbread Spice that doesn't close properly, but I still love. I think this, and it still smells like gingerbread. This palette is beautiful. I love it. I think it's beautiful. I wish they had just stopped here and started something else. Shake your pom-poms. I like this one too. This one's smell is fading, but it does have one. It's very lovely. Kind of peachy almost. Yeah. Very pretty. Very basic, but I like it. Keeping it. And then I have my 2 Milanis. Now, these are the OG Milanis, guys. This is when Milani was making good shit. This is when their eyeshadow formula was amazing. And they reformulated, they repackaged, and they kept the price point the same, but the quality is not. And this is my favorite cool toned palette, is the Milani Soft and Sultry palette. And that's what it looks like. I love this palette so much that when they discontinued it, I panicked, bought a backup. So I have a second one of these. I love this palette. It's traveled with me. It's gone everywhere with me. It's such a perfect, I mean, what more do you need? Cool tone neutrals. What more do you need? Not a whole lot. And then you've got these beautiful metallics right here. I've taken this traveling, and this has been the only thing that I've used, and I've been so happy with my looks when I've done that. Love this palette. Never leaving. Never! Then I have Bold Obsessions. This one, I don't use as much. But again, the formula is so nice, and you can't get it anymore. So I hold on to it. I'm going to hold on to it. All right. I'm going to make some space on this desk, guys, because it's about to go down. All right. The time has come, my friends. Let's do this. All right. We're going to go in order of release. Not in order of purchase for me, because that's a winding road. But first, Subliminal, the OG mothership. My favorite mothership, the one to start it all. You've seen these in my ranking, but I will show them to you again. I'm sure you've seen these everywhere. Here she is. She's a beaut. I adore her. Mothership 1, Subliminal. Put her back in her beautiful packaging because I treat them like the queens that they are. I don't understand people who throw their mothership packaging away. It's like, but why though? It's like throwing away a woman's beautiful dress. Why would you do that? Number 2, and my least favorite. Let us undress her. Well, actually, that's Mothership 3. Now that I'm thinking about it. Never mind. Disregard. I'm like, yeah, 3 is definitely my least favorite. And you've seen my ranking, so you know how I feel. Or if you've seen my ranking. If you haven't, I'll put a card up so you can watch my ranking. This is beautiful. But yeah, not my fave, but not my least fave. My least fave is number 3. And that's this bad boy here, which is Subversive. And that was Sublime, by the way. So it goes Subliminal, Sublime, and Subversive. Because, you know, mother loves a good name, you know. And this is, in fact, my least favorite of the motherships. Because it's just not my color story. But the completionist in me had to have it. I've gotten past that. But I do own that on this, and I'm not going to get rid of it. That's for damn sure. But I'm kind of moving past the completionist issue that I have with Pat McGrath, and it's honestly it's been specifically a Pat McGrath issue. Now I don't have this with every brand, I really don't, but I had it with Pat McGrath. Mothership 4 Decadence, and I have it in the Star Wars packaging. I've shown this on my channel many a times. This is my second favorite Pat McGrath mothership. There she is. She's so pretty. I love her. So lovely. Then we have Mothership 5, which is a lot of people's favorite. It is not my favorite, but I don't hate it, but it's not my fave. But the thing about this palette is, whenever I see people use it, it makes me go, ooh. Which is why I bought it, because I would see people using it and I go, ooh. And I still feel that way. Mostly just about these shades and that shade. But these, like, these two, and then that red. So pretty. But yeah, it's not my fave. It has its attributes. I get why people love this palette. But for me, I only reach for it for these specific shades. I don't really think much about the other side of the palette, so that's why. Next up is my third favorite, and that is Midnight Sun. She's a stunner. Let's undress her, get her ready. There she is. Such a babe. And then I have Divine Rose 1 and Divine Rose 2. Kind of doing this a bit out of order, but that's okay. This is Divine Rose 1. I have it in a really pretty specialty packaging that I will cherish, or that I do cherish rather, because every time I open it up I'm like, she's so pretty. And then I have the special packaging for Divine Rose 2. Stunning. Those are all my motherships. I do not have Utopian Dreams. I talked myself out of it. I had a mirror. Let's have a chit chat. Let's sit down and have talk, sis. Do you need that palette? Do you want that palette? Do you really want that palette, or do you just feel you need that palette because you need to complete your collection? And I had a moment. I was like, you know, honestly, I don't need that palette. I don't really want it. And I was like, okay, then no, don't buy it. It's very expensive to be buying something that you're not gonna use. You know, you did that already with this one. Don't do it again. Let's learn lessons. All right, now let's do the very first 6-pan palettes. Yes, I own the OG 6-pan palettes, peeps. And I told you guys I would do a ranking on these, and I can if you still want me to. This is, what is this called? They're all like, what is this one? This one is, oh, Platinum Bronze. Subliminal Platinum Bronze. No, that one is. It's pretty. It's not my fave. Honestly, I thought that I would like the other one, Sublime more, or Bronze, what's it called? Bronze Ambition, yeah. But I did reach for this one more. It's kind of, what would I call it? It's kind of one of those palettes that it's not very exciting to look at, but then when you start using it, you find yourself using it more than you thought you would. It's one of those kind of palettes. Then we have Bronze Ambition. This is the first one that I bought. Well, I actually bought these two together. These, and by the way, guys, these were the first Pat McGrath items I ever purchased. I didn't buy a mothership for a very, very long time because I was very afraid of the price point and I didn't know which one I wanted. But yeah, so I bought her 6 pans first. This is Bronze Ambition. Stunning, beautiful, gorgeous, beautiful, warm, you know, it's a warm tone neutral with some pretty metallics. You know, easy peasy, beautiful cover girl. So yeah. And then this bad boy, which I like more. I forgot I ripped this. Okay, so this is not the packaging. I ripped this off a very long time ago and I never glued it back on. And just now I'm remembering, guys, I was like the Hulk and I ripped the arm off of that palette. How big? I totally forgot I did that. I was like, oh no, it's broken. I'm like, no, Mary, you broke that, girl, a long time ago. This color story is leaps and bounds better than its Big Mama color story, in my opinion. And I mean, this shade alone. This one. I mean, look at that. Look at that. This one. I mean, look at those. Yeah, I think this one is a way better color story than the Big Mama. Yeah. Am I going to find a way to glue this, or am I going to keep forgetting every time I open it up? Probably going to just keep forgetting every time I open it up. I should just put some, like, sticky glue or something on it. I don't know. I keep forgetting. I'm sorry I broke you. I'm sorry. I didn't know my own strength. And now I have the Holiday 6 pans, and I have all 3 of those as well. Yeah. So let's get into it. This is my least favorite one. This is Metamorphosis. This one has a crap ton of repeats, and it's all metallics. But it's all metallics that, like, I don't use that often. So let me think if I get the thing out so you guys can see it and it's not just reflecting the plastic. There we go. Yeah, they're fine. They're all repeats, by the way. All of them. Like this one, this one, this one, and I believe that one are all in Decadence. These 4. These 2 I believe are repeats too, but I think... is this in... This might be in... I can't remember which palette it's in. It might be Subversive, but I could be wrong. But yeah, all of these are repeats. I bought this because why? I was a completionist, people. I needed all 3. Having said all that, am I decluttering any of these? Hell no. Next up is Dark Star. I have rediscovered my love for this palette, guys. I have. It's very exciting. It's very, very exciting. Just let the clock run out on this. Next up is Dark Star, and I've rediscovered my love for this palette, guys. I really have. I pulled it out recently as a possible, looking for dupes for different shades from a palette that I was trying to dupe. And I opened this bad boy up and I just went, oh, my heart. Be still. Why are you so stunning? Look at that. Look at that. And the reason why it's so messy right now is because I've been using this, guys. I pulled this out and I was like, Dark Star, come to me. It's so beautiful. It has some repeats in it. I believe this shade here, which I believe, let me pull out the little, pick up the little card. I think Deep Space is a repeat. But I don't even care, guys. It's so pretty. This blue, that shade to get, I mean, these golds with the gray and the, it's just, this is a badass color story, man. It's such a good color story. So yeah, I just rediscovered it and I've been using it and I'm actually really proud of myself that I've like reached into something that was older in my collection and rediscovered my love for it. That was quite, it was like a happy surprise. And this one is Bronze Temptation, and this is one that everyone loves, and I like it too. It reminds me a bit of two palettes, actually. It reminds me a bit of, oh, wow. Okay, tell me this is not just like Tea Garden from ColourPop, guys. Anyway. Which I just bought, by the way, but I'm gonna swatch those two together because now I'm curious. It kind of reminds me of like a slightly more muted version of the Linda Hallberg Metallic Mysteries 2. It kind of reminds me of like a slightly more muted version of my Give Me Gold Cosmetics Christmas Morning palette. I mean, are you seeing it? I see it and I'm fine with that. Like, I'm not mad at it at all. I love this palette and looking at it now is kind of just making me fall in love with it again. It's such a beautiful palette. Corruption is another repeat, by the way. She uses a lot of repeats in these, at least she did in the original, the OG batch of Six Pans. I don't know if she does now, I don't think so, but at the beginning she was. And again, guys, I'm showing you these none of this is getting decluttered. I mean, if you're watching this to watch me declutter Pat McGrath, I'm sorry, I'm not that chick. Next up are these two babies. Now, these palettes feature shades. And when I said they were repeats, you see this shade here, Corruption. It's the same red that's in this bad boy here. Do I care? No. Beautiful. But this is what I want to say about these two palettes. Okay, so when Pat started doing her big holiday, this is my favorite. Look at that color story. This is another repeat. Remember I showed you that purpley shimmery shade? That's it. When she first did her, I believe it was Celestial, what's it called? Celestial. The big one that came out this last year was called what? Celestial Odyssey? Yes, so the first one was Celestial Divinity. And that was the pink, big pink one. These 6 shades are the shades, the first, on either side of that palette. One side is literally this side is this palette and one side is literally this palette, and the only new shades are the 6 in the middle. So that is why I did not purchase that palette. If she had released those middle 6 shades as like a 6 pan, I would have been all over that. But for me, it did not make sense for me after spending as much money as I did on these when she first launched them to then buy a huge palette of dupes, of duplicates. It just didn't make any sense. So that's why I skipped out on that, because I had these. Then we have the palette that she came out with, Golden Opulence, for, I believe this was Lunar New Year. Was this 2020? I think it was 2020. This packaging gets really like frosted and weird, but it's pretty, but it's just like catches everything. This is, it's not our best. I don't think she brought her best to this. It's just, it's a really basic color story. I mean, look at that. It's not a whole lot. There's not a lot going on there. And you can dupe all of this out. There's nothing particularly special about it. Will I get rid of it? No. No. But I'm just saying, it's not that like amazing of a color story. The formula, I mean, keep in mind, whenever I'm talking about Pat McGrath, I am never dissing her formula. Or, you know, if I'm critiquing something, I'm never critiquing the formula. I have never in my life had an issue with the Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette or for her formula or anything like that. Her formulas are consistent. I just think this color story could have been better for not only like the occasion, but also, I mean, look at this packaging. This packaging promises so much, and then you kind of get that boring color story inside. So yeah, those are my feelings on that. Then I have this bad boy, which is the Mothership. Does she have a name for this? It just says Mothership. Rose Decadence, because it doesn't have Rose Decadence on there. That's it on the back though. I see. I see. This is when she started changing her packaging. She tried it out with these first, and then she kind of went back to her old packaging. I don't know how I feel about this packaging. I know a lot of people don't like the little tabby things. For me, that's what I associate with her, and I kind of miss them. I kind of miss them, but I get why she doesn't do them, because they can get damaged really easily. This color story, it's pretty. It's just kind of like a curated version of both Divine Rose palettes smushed together. Mostly Divine Rose 2 though, I would say. This is very much a Divine Rose 2-esque palette. It's pretty. Nothing to write home about. I don't hate it. I'm not like in love with it either. But yeah. And then we have the Bridgerton palette, which I just did a review of for you guys. And I'll open it up. I need to throw this box away though. I hate the new packaging. The boxes, I feel like they feel kind of cheap. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. So yeah, this is the Bridgerton Six Pan. There you go. Very nice. Not going anywhere as of now. If I were to declutter anything, it would probably be this one, but I don't think I'm going to be doing that just yet. Let's look at quads. I have the OG trio of holiday quads. I have Nocturnal Nirvana, Ritualistic Rose, and Iconic Illumination. Let's open them up. But you guys see what I mean? Like, this just feels more substantial. It's cooler. It's like unwrapping a present. You know, her quads used to have her Mothership emblems on them. Now it just has her name printed on them. I just don't feel like they're as luxe feeling as they used to. Now the price point has gone down as well. So, I mean, that's one thing, but I'd rather pay a little bit more and get a little bit more. You know what I mean? Yeah, that is Nocturnal Nirvana. I don't use this one as much, but I still love it. The shades are insane. And this is when she was putting her special shades in her quads. And I think she did this maybe once more and then never did it again. And it could have just been, I don't even think it's about how they sell. I think it's probably even with selling them, the pricing of them just doesn't make up for the cost, because I feel like that's the reason why she's not putting them in there anymore. This is Ritualistic Rose. I bought this the same time that I bought Divine Rose 1, and I used to love to pair these two together, or those two together. And you can see why, because it's stunning. So stunning. Stunning. Yeah, love this palette. Such a cute little quad. Then we have Iconic Illumination. Let's open this bad boy up. I can get my hands on the screen. Yes, I can. Beautiful. This is the last one that I purchased as far as from this trio. I started with, what did I get first? I got Ritualistic Rose first, and then Nocturnal Nirvana. And I was like, I don't need that other one. And then it went on sale, and I was like, okay. This shade reminds me a lot of the shade Collision that is in the Linda Hallberg Metallic Mysteries 2. If you're ever looking for a dupe for that shade, because that palette is discontinued, this shade, which I believe is called, let me see here, Bronze Gold, is this Bronze Gold 003? Is this, yeah. Bronze Gold 003. Pat has these shades in a lot of her palettes. These like, it is a special shade, but it's just like, that's exactly what Collision looks like. So if you're like wanting that and you're like also in the market for Pat McGrath, look for one of these types of shades. Her like gold special shades, they're exactly the same as far as the way that they perform on the eye. They even have that same dry baked filling to them. So pull these bad boys out. I'm kind of like, just want to bust them all out here. Okay, so now we have Venison Fleurs, the Voyeuristic Vixen, which I've done I did a comparison of this one with one of her holiday palettes. I believe it was Bronze Borealis. And there it is. Stunning. This shade makes up that entire quad. This one's really pretty too. But this shade right here, this shade right here, I mean, look at that. Stunner. And this is, again, like, this is the last time I think she's done it, when she's had the emblem on it. And then she has it in these little packages. I don't mind this packaging. I think this packaging is kind of cute. I don't mind this one. I don't like the other ones, though. They're not my faves. All right. Then we have Interstellar Icon. And I've done a comparison with this one as well, so you guys can see these. And I think the names are on the back. Yes, because, yes. So, this I believe is a repeat shade. This one here. I believe it's Blue Blood. Or am I mistaken? I might be mistaken. No, I'm not, because this is Divine. This is Hypnotique, so that's Blue Blood. But yeah, I believe that is a. I think it's from either. It might be from Decadence or one of the Six Pans. But yeah. So just be on the lookout when you're buying these, especially if you own a lot from a specific brand. If you're okay with having repeats, you know, spend your money how you like. I'm not going to tell you don't do it. But if that's something that bothers you, especially when it comes to like higher end brands, just double check the shade names and the shade colors and make sure you don't own them already. Because Pat is, with her quads, she does a lot of repeats. Natasha Denona does as well with her minis. So just a little aside. This is Fleur Fantasia. I love this palette. I love this palette more than I thought I was going to love this palette. I mean, these shades are so pretty. They're very light, but I can make them work. They work fine on my eyes. They're pigmented enough for me. I don't think they would necessarily work on deeper skin tone, unfortunately, but I think this is a beautiful palette. Love it. Love it. Now we have the two from Holiday 2021, and this one is the Deep Space Divinity. And I did a comparison with this one and Interstellar Icon on my channel. This is what it looks like. And this is what I mean, how the packaging and the whole vibe has kind of changed. It's not quite as luxe. And the pans have gotten smaller. Price has gone down, but I feel like the presentation has as well, and I just would rather have a really lovely presentation because, you know, I'm superficial. Sorry. I like pretty things. Yeah, I actually, of the two, this is the one that I like the most, and it's mostly for this shade because I think it's a beaut. Look at that. But yeah, that is Deep Space Divinity. And now we have Bronze Borealis. This is my least favorite of any of her quads that I own. And it's just because it's so basic, you know, it's just boring. It's like, okay, man, you know, it's just kind of like, I don't know if I'll declutter it. I might, not today though, but maybe eventually. But yeah, this one, I'm not excited when I use it. And this is the thing, it's a pretty quad. It's a usable quad. I got a really pretty look out of it, but this isn't unique. This isn't unique to her. It isn't unique to other brands, and I can just dupe this out with other things. That's just my feeling on that one. And then last but not least is my big boy, even bigger than the other big boys. is my Holiday palette from 2021. The Celestial Odyssey, I believe is the name of this one. Love it. Beautiful. Gotten a lot of use out of it, as you can see. Very lovely. Very lovely. All right, guys, those are all my Pat McGraths. Yeah, as you can see, I own a lot. Again, if you want me to do a 6-pan palette ranking, I can do that. Quads, I mean, I can do it as well. I own enough, I think, to do that. But yeah, let's get into the rest because I have quite a few like one-off palettes that I kind of want to barrel through. So let's get started. All right, guys, I've grabbed more stuff, more things. All right, so these are all of my one-offs. Brands and palettes that I only own like one of, or palettes from brands that I only own one palette from. Grammatically correct? I don't know. Let's start off with this bad boy here from Menagerie Cosmetics, which is my Violet ink. Here she is. I haven't used this yet. She's beautiful. I do eventually want to use this, so I won't be getting rid of it. It's very pretty. I'm not swatching these because these are some of the most pigmented like shades of eyeshadow I've ever tried, and they will be stuck on your finger forever. Then I have my Saga of Freya, Cat's Breath palette. Very pretty. Very similar to my Electro Turquoise palette from Kaleidos. I think I'm going to hold on to this for now, but having said that, I can see myself eventually decluttering this, only because I have those shades, and this was my mistake. I was really attracted to this one. I had never tried any Odin's Eye. I wanted to try some Odin's Eye. I'd kind of been waiting for a palette that spoke to me, and this is the first one where I felt like the whole color story was really something that I was interested in, and that's because I like the color story, and I already owned that color story, and I really should have just left it at that, and I purchased this, and I don't dislike the formula. I think the formula is nice. I wish I had gotten a different color story, you know, because when I think about that one and I think about my Electro Turquoise, I tend to want to reach for my Electro Turquoise. I like that the color story is a bit more edited. Yeah, so I'm going to hold on to this for now, but I don't know if it's going to last forever. You know, I don't know if it'll survive my like next declutter. Next up, I have my Lois Cosmetics palette from the Meet Me in the Underworld palette, the palette that took the internet by storm. I really like this. I haven't used it in a while, but I really like it. And as you see, again, I keep saying I don't need any more greens, guys. I own so many greens. But yeah, it's a beautiful formula, beautiful palette. Keeping my Muse Beauty, now known as Kylev. Muse Beauty was the original name of the brand. They're now known as Kylev. This is the Van Gogh palette. I have it in the old packaging because I got it before they changed their name. And that's what it looks like. So pretty. Love this color story. These blues here, like this one and this. Oh, this is a beautiful color story. Keeping my Shroud Cosmetics. It's freaking Bats palette. Of course I'm keeping. She's pretty. Love her. My Persona Identity one. Now I have the OG packaging, guys, and I actually really like this packaging. I kind of was bummed when they changed it to plastic. I'm like, but I've had this forever, and I'm debating, guys, if I should keep it because I've had it forever. I do use it. As you can see, I've gotten use out of it. But it's old. And I think for me, the big thing that keeps me from getting rid of it and with the intention of repurchasing is because I have a feeling that if I got rid of this, I would just never repurchase it. I would just be like, eh. So I'm going to put that in the, I'm going to hold on to it. I'm going to keep it and again, revisit in 6 months and see how I feel because yeah. All right, my Arches Couture Supreme Nudes. This isn't going anywhere. I love this palette. So pretty. And they recently came out with like an edited down version, which honestly, I like the packaging of that one even more. That like tan color is so stunning and like chic, and oh, I love it. But yeah, keeping that. This MAC Fancy Feast, as I like to call it. I believe it's called Feast Your Eyes. Yeah, I call it the Fancy Feast palette. I'm decluttering this. Packaging is beautiful. I should have just found a print like this, printed it out and put it in frame, and I probably would have, and it would have been cheaper and I would have been happier. So yeah, declutter. LA Girl Nudist palette. I've had this palette forever. This is one of the palettes that I loved the most for just like really simple, basic, neutral eyes. I have no complaints about this. I think the LA Girl formula is actually really good for the price point. But I don't need this. I haven't reached for it in ages, and I have a million neutral palettes, so I am going to let this one go. Next up, I have my Uma Beauty Coming to America palette, and it's called, I think it's called Royal Heritage. I like this palette. I don't love it. I don't love it. And I'm thinking I'm probably never going to reach for it again. As much as I like it, I think it's just not something that I think of to use. So I'm going to declutter this. I'm going to do it, guys. I'm going to declutter it. It's a beautiful palette. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not, it's not a color story that's like one that I reach for a ton. And so I'm going to give it to a friend and they'll get more use out of it. The e.l.f. The New Classics palette, I purchased this for my Full Face of e.l.f. video. I've talked about this palette a bunch of times. I think it's a pretty color story. I think the shades are very softly pigmented, which may be fine if that's not something you're in for. And then the metallics, I mean, there aren't really any metallics. They look metallic, but they're really just satins. As you can see, they're very, very soft. If that is your jam, I think, oh, that opulent shade is really pretty. Opulent, but I love a green, so that's why I'm like, oh. But yeah, I'm not going to get any use out of this, so I'm just going to declutter it. My one and only Zoeva palette. I had another one that I decluttered as well. I said as well, like it's a foregone conclusion that I am decluttering this. This is the Eclectic Eyes palette. Guys, I want to love this palette. I do. I love the matte formula. I think the matte formula is stunning. These metallics, look at that. Do you see how like soft they are? They kind of remind me of how people talk about melt metallics, but they just like kick up so easily from the pan. It's kind of ridiculous. Do you see this? But they're so nice. And it just makes me go, huh. I mean, you see what I mean? Like what do I do? I mean, they're beautiful, but I'm like, they're so soft that I'm always like, I struggle with them a bit. You always have to have a wet brush. Like I would never dip into this without a wet brush or glitter glue, but and this one's so flaky too. It's like too flaky, I feel like. I knew this one was going to give me trouble. I was like, I've been like thinking about this one, being like, I don't know. I don't know. Like if I'm keeping it, I'm literally just keeping it for these, like, not even this one because I have a shape very similar to that, but these three. And this one's really nice. Oh, and I'm getting purple all in the pan, but it's really nice. It's just, oh, I don't know. It's so flaky and like messy. I struggle, guys. I'm on the struggle bus right now with that one. I don't know what to do. I'm going to put this in the maybe pile with that line crime on that I'm also struggling to decide what to do with. Struggle bus. That's me. All right. Flower Beauty Desert Lights. I have not used this palette yet. And when I say that, I'm not saying that like, oh, I need to get rid of it because I haven't used it yet. I really want to use it. I just keep, it's not a palette that I would reach for by itself. So I just need to get some use out of it, because every time I swatch these shades, guys, I'm just like stunned at how lovely they are. They're so buttery and just smooth and reflective and just, I mean, I'm shocked, frankly. I'm like, most drugstore eyeshadows are very underwhelming for me, but I'm like, damn, Flower Beauty's coming for people's necks out here. Look at this. Look at that. I'm keeping it because I gotta use it. I got to. I got to. All right. This little bad boy is going away, and I knew that. I bought this just to see what the quality was like. It's okay. Everybody was raving about these. I wasn't like, oh my God, these are amazing. I mean, for $3, which is how much they cost, yeah, I think they're decent. Are they as decent as other, other brands that have these shades? Not really. All right. This is my Kevin Aucoin Nude Pop palette. This is old, and I don't care. I will not be getting rid of this. I love this palette. It's so pretty. I mean, it's just, I just can't. I can't do away with it. I can't do away with it. I can't. Okay? Don't make me. You can't make me. You're not my mother. I'm keeping it. Next up, I have this. I'm low-key embarrassed to show you guys this. I don't know what I was smoking. I think I was having an emotional breakdown when I bought this. It still has the plastic on it, guys. Look at this. It still has plastic on it. This is Ulta's Black Widow palette. Remember when Black Widow was first supposed to come out? And then the Rona happened and we didn't get it for 2 years. This palette was out and I was like, oh, this is so cute. And I was like, I might buy that and try it out. I've never tried Ulta's formula before. Oh my God. And then I bought it. I waited for it to go on sale. It took forever to go on sale, by the way, because I wasn't paying full price for it. Hell no. And then I never used it. I mean, look, it's like the plastic goes all the way around and you're supposed to like pull it off, or like it has like a perforation. I haven't even done that yet, guys. That's how like not used this palette is. It is unused. I am going to give this to a friend. Yeah. And then this, remember that brand Bad Habit that had all the dupes? And I remember they had the dupe of the Mario palette from ABH, and I bought it because I wanted that palette so bad, but I was on the late freight and it was already discontinued. And so this is the dupe of it. And I've held on to this, even though I don't use it, because I'm like, this is the closest I have ever come to the Mario palette. But I think it's time to let it go. I don't use it. I just open it up and look at it and go, one and done shadows. Since we're here, I think this is a great time to wrap everything up, and this will basically be the end of my declutter series, guys. But yeah, I want to throw those in because I don't own a ton, but I own enough, and I don't think it needs its own video, so I'm just going to throw those at the end of this one. All right, gang. These are all of my sort of one and done potted shadows. Take these bad boys out of the little drawers. And these here are all part of a Pat McGrath kit, but I will swatch all of them for you. And then I have my Chantecaille, I have a Viseart. This is just a little single color pop. I have some single shadows. I don't have a ton, so I don't feel like the need to do a whole, and I'm not decluttering any, so I don't feel the need to do a whole video about those. Maybe once I've amassed more of a collection, if I do, I'll do a video about those, but I just don't own a ton. It just is kind of irrelevant, I feel like. But that's one of them. Yeah. Okay. Here's my stuff. Okay. Let's do the Chantecaille. First two I ever bought were these bad boys, the giraffe and the elephant. Ooh, dug my nail in there, and now I'm going to have a nice little cry in the corner. Did I ruin it? No, it's fine. Okay, so this is giraffe. This is elephant. Stunning. I use giraffe. Let me wipe my finger off. I use giraffe a lot because what I love about this shade, is that you can build this up and you can buff it out and you can make it look like you've got 3 different shades on your eye. It's very simple. It's not like, you know, groundbreaking shade, but it's one of those shades that you can like put a base on, buff it out, put another layer on, and then you can go in with like a wet brush and it just comes alive and it looks like glitter. And then it looks like you've really tried hard when you really only use this. Then I have this bad boy, my elephant. Very pretty. I don't use this one as much, but it's lovely. I have these 2 bad boys, which I don't use as much, and I'm not gonna even lie, guys, I mostly bought these for the packaging. I admit it. Shameful, I know, whatever, sue me. Beautiful. This one is kind of like that one, only not as intense. This green is very similar to the green that is in the Linda Hallberg Metallic Mysteries 2 palette, but I don't care. I love them. They're beautiful. My 2 Oryx that I bought for Holiday 2021, I did a review on these. Here is the inside of one. Beautiful shade. If you want to see my review of these, I will leave a link below. If I can lift this up, that'd be great. That is the topper shade. That one is Disrupt. This is Entice. There you go. Put that back on. Topper shade. Beautiful. These are the Pat McGrath kit. If you've ever seen those kits, it was like the first little kit she came out with before she came out with her Motherships, and they all came together with this beautiful blurple pigment. Yeah, seeing that? And I feel like this was if not the same pigment, the pigment that inspired the pigment that is in the shadow that is in that 6 pan, purple 6 pan. It's beautiful. And then you've got a little cream that's super reflective, and whatever you put it over will be insane. I struggled with this black until I realized that it's just like a kind of a cream to powder formula. Now I can work with it. This one is just a reflective little reflective blue white shade. Kind of, these are like this genesis of her special shades, I feel like. And then this one, if I can get that open, it's like this really pretty, super reflective metallic. Wipe my hand off because I got a lot going on right now. And then I have my Surratt. I hate the top part of this thing here. It's very dry. As you can see, you can see how it's separated. I don't really bother with that. It's not the best, but the bottom half, which is this, is stunning. That is beautiful. I don't really need the black for that. I just usually ignore the black and just use that bottom shade underneath. And then I have the 3 Vanessa Meyerix Infinite Chrome Flakes that I reviewed when I first began my channel last year. I am keeping Fireball and Lightning Bolt, but as you know, I was not a fan of Strobe Light, and so Strobe Light will be going bye-bye. And so let's put all of these back in here. This I'm going to put with like seagulls, or it might fit there. We'll see. But yeah, those are all of my sort of like single one and done shadows, the powders. And then I will show you my creams.
Alright, this is kind of a hot ass mess
of a pile, but my battery's dying, so I'm just gonna barrel through these because I'm not getting rid of anything. The reason why I'm not getting rid of anything is because yesterday when I was like planning this video, one of my Stilas, it's my green one, Enchanted Earth, the little doe foot broke off inside of it and I wound up having to throw it away, which I was very bummed about, but I wasn't planning on decluttering anything from these. So that's kind of a bummer, but yeah, I just wound up tossing that because I was just like disgusted. All right, so these are all of my sort of cream one and dones, guys. I'm not going to swatch these because it's a lot, but I have 2 of the, I used to have 3, Rest in Peace Enchanted Earth. I have two of the suede eyeshadows, liquid eyeshadows from Stila and Bust a Mauve and Something Blue. I use Something Blue up the most out of those. It's just, it has a nice little shimmer to it as well, even though it's technically, it's kind of like a satin. I have the, what is this called? Where's your name? Shimmer and Glow and Vivid Sapphire. Love this as a base for like other shades. Oh, so stunning. I have the Natasha Denona Chromium Infra Nude, which feels like it's trying to dry out, so I want to get some more use out of that before it's completely dead. I have my Too Faced Melted Chocolate Liquid Matte Shadows that I love. I've talked about these on the channel before. I love these. I only own 3. They're such perfect one and done shadows. They blend so nicely. They layer nicely. They're not going anywhere. These are all of my Danessa Myricks color fixes that I own. As you can see, I own a lot of nudie tones because they just work really nicely. These are for your lip, cheek, and eyes. So you can use these. I've seen people use these as contour, as eyeshadow, as blush, as lipstick. I've seen them use them for everything. And I've used them multiple ways as well. The clear one I love as a glaze color, or color fix glaze and clear. I love this for layering over lipsticks to make them look extra glossy. Matte liquid lipsticks especially, you can make them look super glossy with that. Yeah, these are lovely. I'm not going to swatch them. They're so pigmented and they're really hard to get off your hand because I've done it before and that was a mistake. So yeah, I have Wasabi. I believe this is what this one's called. Yeah. I have Carrot Top Lift, which is the white. I have Primary Yellow, Blackout, and then in the nude shades. This one is called Exposed, and that's kind of just like a neutral, but this is actually from her nude line, and she has a ton of different range of like nude skin tones, and which is why I think that's great because these are so multifunctional and you can use them as contours and things and bronzers. They come in such a wide variety of shades. This one is Nude 7, Nude 5, and Nude 12. And then here I have 2 of the Smashbox Always On Cream Shadows in the shades Ochre and Ultramarine, which I love these. They're perfect for just like laying down as a base. They're hella pigmented. They dry down really quickly and they are like cement. They do not move. And this is the Pat McGrath Pale Gold Chroma Luxe Highlight Cream. This is really beautiful. Really glittery. They say you can use it as a highlight cream. I use it as a liquid shadow because there is no way I would put, like, it's very glittery. You can use it if you're like glittery highlighters, you can use it as such, but I like to just dab it over my eyes and it looks very sparkly and beautiful and, you know, whatever. I also have these bad boys, which I put over to the side because I ran out of space, so I had to just sit them to the side. But these are my Lethal Cosmetics. They kind of are liquid liners, but you can also use them as cream shadow bases. I kind of use them interchangeably, which is why I opted not to put them in with my liners because I'm like, well, I kind of use them as both. So I just figured I'd save them for that. So I've got Threshold, Ox, and Hertz. Hertz I've used quite a bit. These 2 I have not. I've just swatched them. This one is my Tarte Clay Pot and Margarita, and it's drying out, guys. It's drying out. So I think I'm going to have to invest in some Duraline for these because these are feeling a little dry as well. And I want to save them because they don't get used a ton, but those types of products dry out easily anyway. This little thingy, it's such an interesting concept. It's actually a cream to powder shadow pen from Maybelline. Color Strike in the shade Ace. And it's literally just like this little thingy and you dip it in and then you apply the shadow like that. How insane is that? And it's very pretty and it's very pigmented. And I just like the idea of this as a base for colors. Yeah, very nice. I don't know. I'm going to keep that. I think it's really cool. So yeah, guys, those are all of my like cream and my one and done shadows, along with, as you can see, my very, very epic Pat McGrath collection and my overall slightly epic eyeshadow palette collection. I mean, it's not as big as some people's, but it's bigger than the average, you know, it's more epic than the average bear's eyeshadow palette collection, I will say that. And that concludes my my beginning of the year makeup collection and declutter videos. It's been a journey, guys. It's been a ride. It's been fun. Onwards and upwards. And now that I've kind of like emptied out my collection a bit, I feel like I can know what I have and, you know, get some more use out of it. Let me show you what I have actually decluttered. Now that we're sitting here, I can actually do that and show you guys. So this is everything that got decluttered. Let's move all my color fixes out of the way so you can see. My desk does not have the capacity for so much stuff. All right. I said I was going to make a decision about this. I've decided I'm going to declutter it. So altogether, I have decluttered today.
I have decluttered, let's see.
I have decluttered, guys, 19 palettes. That's more than I was expecting to declutter, to be quite honest. Because I go through, and I've also decided to declutter this one as well. I'm just gonna bite the bullet and do it. That's a lot. But it's not a ton in the sense of like, I know some people are like, 100 eyeshadows gone. I don't do declutters like that because I declutter pretty much twice a year. So this is a bigger declutter than I was expecting, but that's good. I think it's going to be great to start off fresh. My battery is dying, guys, so I'm going to head out. I'm going to go make something to make a snack, cup of tea, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.